Hello guys, good day. This is your Sir Erwin Bourbon and this is your alternative learning material in creative writing. Last time we have discussed about figures of speech, its meaning, its role, function, and its two forms known as your tropes and rhetorical figures. We have focused on the tropes and its four kinds or types, which are your simile, metaphor, symbol, and image. As a review, when we say trope, this refers to the overall meaning of the sentence or phrase. Simile and metaphor are both a form of comparison. So they compare objects belonging to different classes. Meaning we should compare a person to an object to an animal to an object, and vice versa. In metaphor and simile, we cannot compare a person to another person because that would not be considered as either simile or metaphor. The only difference between the two is that simile uses clue words such as like or as, whereas metaphor is an indirect comparison, so there are no clue words there. Your image, on the other hand, refers to your imagery, whereas symbol, these are meanings found on the objects, the behavior, the color, or the characteristic of persons involved in a story or literary piece. This time we will focus on the nature of rhetorical figures and the figures of speech under it. Rhetorical figure is another form of figures of speech which special effects are achieved for the most through unusual sequencing of the words or sentence structure. So this refers mainly to the arrangement or placement of words in a sentence or a phrase or how they are pronounced. So that's your rhetorical figure. So it appeals more on the phonological effect of words and its arrangement. We have several figures of speech under this form. Some of them are mostly used in both classic and contemporary literature, and some of them are seldom applied. First, we have your alliteration. Alliteration, this is the repetition of proximate or nearby words whose initial consonant sounds are the same, also referred to as head rhyme. Alliteration is used mostly by writers to achieve phonological effect, something that is interesting kag appealing sa pamatian. To simplify what an alliteration is, these refer to your consonant. When we say consonant, these are your B, C, D, and so on. And take note on the meaning, initial consonant sound. So these are words starting with similar consonant sounds such as back, bag, bone, or bean. The initial consonant in that example is B or the B sound. Alliteration is mainly used also in tongue twister such as Peter Piper, in which the initial consonant sound there is P, P, letter P. Now we have here several examples. Come and clean the chaos in your closet. So this is a sentence with an alliteration, and the alliteration there is your K sound produced by the consonant letter C. Again, the alliteration there is K sound produced by letter C. Another example, Please put away your paints and practice the piano. The alliteration there is the p sound produced by the consonant letter P. Right? So that is your alliteration. To identify alliteration or words with an alliteration effects in a literary piece, so usually nagasunod na sila, but sometimes it is scattered in the stanza or in the sentence. So it does not necessarily mean nga dapat nagadikit sila, for as long as they belong in a single stanza, paragraph, they create an alliteration sound. Next, we have allusion. This is the reference, usually brief and typically indirect, to a mythical, biblical, historical, cultural, or literary character, event, place, or object. In short, guys, allusion is when you are mentioning something that is recognizable or known to almost everyone. It could be an event, it could be a name, it could be a movie, it could be a song, a person, a brand, a product, etc. When they are used in a sentence, they create a meaning or some sort of a metaphorical effect. Allusion does not only exist in literary pieces but also in several songs. Example, we have Romeo and Juliet as an allusion sa kanta ni Taylor Swift nga Love Story.
And I said, Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone.
Another one is from the song Hall of Fame by The Script. May line ditong you can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the King Kong banging on your chest.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the King Kong banging on your chest.
So, ang allusion dito is obviously ang King Kong, which is known as a movie character. Another example of allusion we have, I was caught up in a World War II situation. The allusion there is World War II situation. So what does it mean when you are in a World War II situation? So it could mean nga magamo, chaotic, or may disorder. Therefore, we can conclude nga ang character sa sentence is having a bad day because of using the allusion World War II. Another example is, you are a regular Einstein. So this is an allusion to a historical figure nga si Albert Einstein. So when we say regular Einstein, kumbaga hindi siya ka-level ni Einstein. Another example, your backyard is a garden of Eden. So this is an example of biblical allusion. So when we say Garden of Eden, we could say nga the paradise, or in short, manami or matawhay or malimpyo ang iya nga backyard. So again, we use allusion to create meaning or to show comparison. Next, we have your anticlimax or bathos. We all know that when we say climax, it is the peak, ang pinaka most exciting part. Whereas ang anticlimax naman, it's somehow disappointing, okay? It refers to the building up a climax that results in something that cannot be considered as climax. It works against the climax, oftentimes a descent from a noble or elevated tone to one markedly less exalted. So when you encounter an anticlimax, first thing you will feel very excited or elevated, and afterwards you'll feel disappointed. So that is how an anticlimax work, okay? We have here examples. You are excited for the end of classes because you and your friends have planned to go for a summer vacation. However, even before the classes ended, the pandemic hit the country. So you see, it's an anticlimax in a sense nga ginapawi niya or ginakuha niyang excitement. Abi mo matabo na but wala gali because of certain issues or certain occurrences in the story. Okay? Another example. Tension builds in a horror movie as a young girl approaches a closed door. There is a scratching sound coming from behind the door. When she opens it, a cat comes out. Inang ga-expect ka na nga may ghost or shall we say someone nga something scary behind the door but cat malangali. So that is anticlimax. Another one. On discovering that his friend was murdered, with vengeance on his mind, Ravi rushed back to his college only to find his friend sipping on coffee in the college canteen. So, the story is, abi niya napatay iya friend kag gusto niya maghiganti or magbalos. But nagbalos siya sa school, nakita niya in the flesh buhi iya nga friend. So, anticlimax siya. So, disappointing. Alright, so that's your anticlimax, guys. Next, we have your antanagoge or antanagogy. This places both criticism and compliment together to lessen an impact. It is a technique by means of aligning positive views to mitigate the negative aspect of an idea, person, or an object. In short, antanagoge is a line or a sentence wherein the first part is somehow negative and the second part has a positive vibe to it. Example, she is very passive in class, but she is generous. So you see, the first part is a criticism which is negative, very passive. Kumbaga, she is weak or performing less in school. And the second part, nga gindayaw niya nga she is gorgeous. So that's a compliment. So you placed both criticism and compliment together. Another example, FCU's tuition fees are too expensive, but the school offers very quality education. So there is a negative or a criticism there. So there is a criticism there which refers to too expensive, which is followed by a negative or a positive statement rather, which says it offers a quality education. So that's a compliment. Another one, when life gives you lemons, make a lemonade. So the first part of the sentence is somehow negative. Lemons are sour, right? And out of those sourness, the second part tells us to make a lemonade, which is something refreshing. Okay, so it's positive. Another example, she died and her enemies cried, "How glad we were to know her." So the negative there is she died, which is sad, right? And the positive or the complimentary statement there is how glad we were to know her. So that's your antanagoge or antanagogy. Next, we have antiphrases. This uses a word with an opposite meaning. A word or phrase is used to mean the opposite of its normal meaning to create ironic humorous effect. Take note of the word ironic humorous effect. So we are using opposing words within a sentence to either describe the character or to give meaning in a sentence. Example, our new classmate is so small, but he is named Hulk. So you see, there is an opposing word there, very small, but ang iyang ngalan is Hulk. So we all know naman nga si Hulk is a green giant character, no, kag he is very strong. But in this example, Hulk is a small person. So that is antiphrasis. Another example, we have clown is the monster in It movie. So you see, clown is supposed to be funny, right? And is child friendly, kumbaga. But ironically, clown is the monster in It movie. So si It, siya ang antagonist sa It movie. So instead nga dapat he should create or he should be funny, sa movie he is scary. Another example, you ate the spaghetti even though you knew it was cooked 3 weeks ago. Very smart. So you see, it's like an insult, it's like an irony. In the first part, it's like a criticism, no? Gina-criticize niya nga daw balaan mo na nga dugay na ginluto 3 weeks ago pa pero ginkaon mo gyapon, maalam. So it's like an irony, it's like an insult. Okay, so that is your antiphrases, guys. Next we have apostrophe. Someone is usually absent but not necessarily so. A personified thing, some abstract quality, or non-existent personage is directly addressed as thought physically present. So in this figure of speech, you are directly calling on someone or talking to someone who is not around or is not a living object. Example, ang kantang Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Actually, it's not a song but a poetry, no? Naging popular lang siya because ginobra siya nga song or a children's song. So, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, how I wonder what you are. So in this piece, the character is talking to the star. Okay, so gina-istorya niya where in fact the star is not a living object or it's not around. Now we have here another stanza from Shakespeare, Macbeth. Is this dagger which I see before me the handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. So in this stanza or certain lines, the character is talking to the dagger. So gina-istorya niya where in fact the dagger is not a person or the dagger is not alive. So that's your apostrophe. Again, apostrophe is when you are calling on someone, talking to something that is not alive or is not around. Okay, it could be a person, it could be an object around you, or it could be anything unable to talk back to you. Okay? Next, we have your assonance. So assonance, guys, is the opposite of alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of proximate or nearby consonant sound or initial consonant sounds, whereas ang assonance niya it's the repetition of the proximate or nearby words whose stressed vowel sounds are the same. So this focuses on the vowel sound. Alright, so we have your vowels such as a, e, o, u. Alright, so those are your vowel sound or vowel letters which create vowel sounds. And when there are words with similar vowel sounds that could be found in a certain lines, nagasunod man or scattered within a sentence, that is your assonance. So take note, assonance is also referred to as slant, near, or oblique rhyme. Examples: had, bad, glad. So that is, or those are words with assonance sound. So paano sila nag-assonance sounds? It's because their vowel sounds are similar. So we have had, this the vowel sound there is a, bad with the vowel sound a, and glad with the vowel sound a. So they're the same and they create similar vowel sounds. Another example, I feel depressed and restless. So the assonance sound there, we have feel, depressed, and restless. So the vowel sound E sa feel kag dip sa depressed, and E sa depressed, restless. Okay? Johnny went here and there and everywhere. The vowel sound there is E for went, here, there, everywhere. So those are your assonance. Again, take note, alliteration, consonant, letter sounds, whereas ang assonance naman is the vowel sounds. Okay? Next, we have cataphora. So this refers to a figure of speech where an earlier expression refers to or describes a forward expressions. This is the use of pronoun or other linguistic unit to refer ahead to another word in a sentence. So take note, cataphora is the usage of a pronoun before the name itself. So pronoun, guys, we have he, they, she, it, and so on. So those are examples of pronoun nga ginagamit sa cataphora. So ano yung cataphora? So for example, my girlfriend is she, comma, Avril. Again, my girlfriend is she, Avril. So the cataphora there is she and Avril. So you see, mas nauna ang pronoun sa name nga Avril. So una niya gin-refer using the word pronoun nga she before ang name gid nga Avril. So kung baliktaron naton or kung i-rephrase naton, my girlfriend is Avril. Okay? Another example, if you want them, there are cookies in the kitchen. So them is an instance of cataphora because them refers to cookies, which hasn't been mentioned in the discourse prior to that point. Kumbaga, mas nauna ang them kesa sa cookies. Another one, a few weeks before he died, my father gave me an old cigar box filled with faded letters. So, ang he dira nag-refer sa iya nga father. Mas una niya gamit ang pronoun nga he before niya mention ang iya nga father. And that is your cataphora. Take note ha, nagagamit siya pronoun before the name itself or the noun. So, pronoun first before the noun. Next, we have eponym. This is the name of a person or deity which is so commonly associated with widely recognized trait or contributions. This could also be related to allusion. So as you can remember, now we have biblical allusion or mythical allusion. Ang eponym, guys, it's mentioning a name of sikat nga person or mga historical figures such as Plato, Socrates, Albert Einstein, biblical characters such as Joseph, Mary, and mga deities, or when we say deities, mga gods and goddesses sa mga mythologies such as Zeus, Jupiter, Mercury, Aphrodite, or Cupid, etc. and their name should be related to or connected to a certain characteristic or behavior. Example, Hera for jealousy. So sa Hera guys is ang wife ni Zeus. We have Zeus for power. Another one, Bonnie and Clyde for criminal lover. And a Robin Hood for a theft with compassion to the poor. Alright, so again, magambal kita eponym. These are names of recognizable characters, historical figures, mythical characters, or biblical persons which have correlation to certain personalities or characteristic. Okay? Next, we have euphemism. So this is the replacement of unoffensive words or mild expressions for one that may be potentially harsh, blunt, or even politically incorrect to other people. So referred to as the double speak or the refusal to call a spade a spade. It makes the negative appear positive, the unnatural appear natural, and the unpleasant appear pleasant. So ang euphemism guys, it's just using or ang pag-ilis sang negative term sang positive term para agud maibanan ang iyang negative effect or impact. Example, so we have adult entertainment instead of pornography, big boned instead of heavy or overweight, vertically challenged instead of short, chronologically challenged instead of late, special child instead of disabled, and we have mentally challenged instead of stupid. So these are used to minimize the negative effect or impact of harsher terms. Okay? So again, that is your euphemism. Next, we have hyperbole or hyperbole. So this is a figure of speech that involves an exaggeration of ideas for the sake of emphasis. So overstatement, exaggeration, or kung sa aton, OA. So this seems impossible, one of the most common figures of speech nga ginagamit. So kung sa aton pa, this is na sobrahan, over, exaggerated, or tawag sindo hindi mapatihan. Okay? Example, I will fish the moon to prove my profound affection towards you. So this is exaggeration because it is impossible for someone to fish the moon. Therefore, this is hyperbole. Next, Lunder debated with a voice louder than a volcano's eruption. So this is also an impossible notion, no? Kay a volcano's eruption is very loud and no one can topple that. Okay? So, hyperbole. Next, daw mahulog ng iya mata sa wala untat nga tangis. So daw mahulog ng iya mata is an exaggeration also because hindi man iya mahulog aton mata because sa sobra ka tangis. So that's impossible. Therefore, this is hyperbole. Okay? OA. Next, we have hypophora. So this is a figure of speech which a writer raises a question and then immediately provides an answer to that question. In short, pamangkot mo, sabat mo. Alright? Example, masulod pa ko bay? Hindi na lang guro So you see, so you are asking a question and then you immediately answered your own question. Another example, should students wear uniforms to school? The answer is yes. Uniform in school could decrease discipline incidents. They could also lead to increased concentration in class. Finally, uniforms create a sense of school community. So you see, you ask first and then you provide your own answer for your own question. So usually, ining figure of speech is observable sa mga essays natin. Okay, sa mga essays natin, we are allowed to ask question and then we provide the answer to our question. So again, maghambal kita, hypophora. You are asking a question. It could be philosophical, it could be a figurative question, it could be a literal question by which followed by your own answer. Okay, so you immediately answer your own question. Next, we have irony. So this is the utterance of an actual intention in words that communicate the exact opposite meaning. So as a literary device, the use of irony is very effective if the writer wants to give the impression of great restraint. So sometimes irony is like an insult or a sarcasm. And we have three forms of irony. First, we have the dramatic irony. So readers, audience are waiting for the other shoe to drop. So the audience are aware of what is happening in the story, but the character has limited grasp of the plot. So meaning to say, mas balaan naton kung ano ang gakalatabo sa story compared sa characters mismo sa story. Example, a woman thinks her boyfriend is acting strangely because he's about to propose, but the audience knows that he is planning to run away with another woman, intensifying emotions. So sa mga movies nga nalantaw naton or sa mga teleserye manda, prevalent gid ini ang dramatic irony kay kisa or most of the time we are provided with the information or clues sa story nga ang character mismo is wala kabalo. Another example, in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, the audience knows Juliet is in a drug sleep. So kumbaga hindi pa saya patay. So when Romeo thinks she is dead and kills himself, followed by Juliet doing the same, it increases the audience's so mas balaan naton ang nagakalatabo kesa sa character themselves. Next, we have the situational irony. So everyone involved is shocked and unexpected. So this time, even the characters in the story or even the people involved, if the situation is in real life, and the audience are both shocked. Example, a fire station burns down. So it's an irony or a situational irony because fire station, they are supposed to mitigate fire, but ang ilapa station mismo ang nasunog. Another one, a marriage counselor files for a divorce. So it's an irony because a marriage counselor is supposed to fix broken marriages, but in this example, nag-file man siya divorce sa iya asawa. So it's ironic. Another one, a post on Facebook complaining. Another example for the situational irony. So sa Harry Potter, so throughout the books, Harry Potter expected to kill Voldemort, but he eventually realizes that he must allow Voldemort to kill him instead. So this is a major reversal in what was expected throughout the books. Okay, so he allowed, or Harry Potter allowed, Voldemort to kill him first. Okay. Next, we have the verbal irony. So words don't line up with true intention. So this is akin to sarcasms or an insult. Example, saying, "Oh, fantastic," when the situation is actually poor. So another one, when a terrible blind date, a woman calls a friend and says, "He was friendly as a rattlesnake." So that is an insult, that is a sarcasm, that is a verbal irony. Another one, a food critic tells the chef, "Your steak was as tender as a leather shoe." So the line is an insult, meaning the steak was not good at all. Alright? Next, we have litotes or the litotes. The form of understatement in which something is asserted by declaring the negation of opposite. It employs an understatement by using double negative. So it has usually a negative signal such as no, not, cannot, or do not. Basta may not siya, that is litotes. Example, not bad instead of good. Instead of saying he is a good dancer, you say he is not a bad dancer. Another one, not disagreeable means agreeable. Little profits for profits not at all. Not the least for great. Or you are not doing badly at all. So ang litotes dito is badly, not doing badly at all. Kung sa hiligay nun, we have hindi siya kalain maganta. In short, manami siya maganta. So, ang guwa sang statement or sentence naton magamit kita sang litotes is like negative because nagagamit kita negative terms, but ang meaning niya is positive. Okay? Hindi siya kalain magkanta, meaning manami siya magkanta. So, nagamit kita kalain nga term. Ang signal word nga hindi. So, meaning to say, again, it's a positive or complementary statement. So, that's your litotes. Next, we have your metanoia. So this corrects or qualifies a statement. So the correction of a statement is done either through writing or speech. The aim of metanoia is always to strengthen, retract, or weaken or amplify. Example of metanoia, ikaw ang pinakagwapa sa eskwelahan. Ay, pati sa bilog nga syudad pagid. So ang metanoia dito is that you complimented her nga siya ang pinakagwapa sa eskwelahan, and then it is followed by a more complementary statement nga hindi lang gali sa eskwelahan, sa bilog pa nga syudad. So mas nagdako ang scope hindi lang sa eskwelahan pati sa bilog nga syudad. Next, she devoured the food hurriedly but also hardly. So the metanoia there is devouring the food hurriedly and also hardly. Next, the school is nothing without the parents. Or to put it in a better way, parents play a very big role in solving issues that the board cannot solve, and that is why we need you. First, compliment niya ang parents nga the school is nothing without you. Kumbaga, it shows the importance of the parents' role in the school. And on the second part of the sentence, mas qualify niya ang iyang first nga statement kag describe or explain pagid further kung gaano ka-important ang role ng parents. Okay, so that is your metanoia. Next, we have metonymy. So this is the substitution or replacement of the name of a concrete object or thing that is closely associated or connected with a group or with a word or concept for the word or concept itself. So this is representation through substitution. Example, Philippines beat China in the FIBA. So ang metonymy there is Philippines representing or referring to the Filipino people and China for the Chinese. So ginpair di sa mga Filipinos ang Chinese sa FIBA. Next, our flag will rise from its underdog title. So ang metonymy dira is ang flag for the team. So gina-represent ang flag ang team. So instead of using the team, you use a flag. Next, so isa ini sa mga pinakasikat nga quote. Pen is mightier than the sword. So pen refers to the written words and swords refer to the military force or kumbaga sa marahas nga process. Let me give you a hand. So hand means help. Okay? Another one, the crown has arrived in our country. So crown refers to a royal person. Take note, our metonymy is equivalent to physical symbols. So sa aton nga tropes, we have symbols kag ang definition ng symbol is also representation. So object representation. For example, ang cross for Christianity. So this is the same with metonymy. Okay? Next, we have onomatopoeia. This is the deliberate deployment of a word whose sound approximates, implies, or is suggestive of its meaning. An onomatopoeic word mimics the sound of the action or thing that it refers to. So onomatopoeia, guys, these are sounds in words. Okay, example, we have these onomatopoeic words such as achoo, buzz, clash, drip, ew, fizz, guffaw, hiss, icky, jingle, knock, lisp, moo, neigh, ooze, poof, quack, roar, splash, tick-tock, vroom, whisper, yup, and zoom. So those are several examples of onomatopoeic words from letter A to Z. An example of onomatopoeia in a sentence, we have the gushing stream flows in the forest. So the onomatopoeia there is the gushing. Another example, naglagtok ang iaulo sang tinupan sang bato. So ang onomatopoeia dito is naglagtok. Another one, gangurob ang ido samtang gatulok sa akon. So ang onomatopoeia there is gangurob. So they connote sound. Okay? And once you encounter them or once you read them, you can immediately imagine a sound. Okay? So this could also be referred to your auditory imagery. Okay? So that is your onomatopoeia. Next, we have oxymoron. It is a figure of speech in which two opposite ideas are joined to create an effect. The common oxymoron phrase is a combination of an adjective preceded by a contrasting meaning. Take note, oxymoron is different from antiphrases. Ang antiphrases naton ya, ang aton antiphrases ya is two opposite or ironic idea. And they could be nga separate sa isa ka sentence. Whereas ang oxymoron naton, these are two words with an opposite meaning nga nagadikit, and they and when combined they create a meaning. Okay? Example, pretty ugly. So maghambal kita pretty ugly, maganda ang pagkapangit niya. Okay? Another one, original copies. So when we say original, copies the first copy. So we all know nga original means it's authentic, and copies is copy. It's not original at all. So when they are combined or when they are both combined, they create a meaning, and the meaning is the first copy. Her singing is enough to raise the living dead. So when we say living dead, these are dead persons, okay, or the zombies, kumbaga. Suddenly the room is filled with a deafening silence. So deafening and silence are opposite to each other. So when we say deafening, makabulungol, whereas ang silence naman, it's kaukoy. So deafening silence, it means very silent. Okay? Next, we have parting is such a sweet sorrow. So ang sweet, which is a positive thing, and sorrow is a negative emotion. So they are combined and they create a meaning, sweet sorrow. Now that is your oxymoron. Again, magambal kita oxymoron, two opposite terms or adjectives combined or ginluyo sila, and when combined they create a meaning. Alright? Next we have paradox. These are two opposing phrases, terms, clauses. So this is an expansive form of oxymoron. So kung oxymoron naton kay now, words lang nagindikit or opposing words nagindikit and they create meaning. Ang paradox on the other hand is expanded. Kumbaga, it's a phrase, it's an opposing phrase nga embedded within one sentence or within one line, which also creates a meaning. So example, I hate you for loving me. So paradox siya in a sense nga ginakamuhian niya ang tao kay ginapalangga siya sa tao. Alright? Next, your beauty is so unique that you need to hide it from the public. So paradox siya in a way nga may ironic effect, naga pang-insulto siya. So unique kuno iya beauty or kung sa aton pa exotic kag need na nga i-hide from the public. So imagine beauty na gani, a unique beauty pero kinahanglan taguon. So ang meaning sina is that exotic beauty or kumbaga in layman's term medyo hindi kaaya-aya kay it needed to be hidden from the public. Next, you can save money by spending it. So it's a paradox in a sense nga you need to spend your money in order to save your money. So opposing, di ba? So though malasa ka or magalibog ang imo ulo kung ano ang imo obrahon. So to save money you need to spend it. So ang gulo. So that is your paradox. Alright, so again take note, paradox is an expansive form of oxymoron. Next, we have personification. So one of the most widely recognized figures of speech. So this is a figure of speech in which a thing, an idea, or an animal is given human attributes. The non-human objects are portrayed in such a way that we feel that they have the ability to act like human beings. So it's simply giving human actions or attributes or characteristics to non-living objects or to animals. Example, the fire swallowed the whole forest. Kumbaga, kaon ko no, sang kalayo ang bilog na forest. So, it's a personification because fire is not a living object and swallowed only the animal or a person does that. Okay? Next, the shadow of the moon danced on the lake. So, it's a personification because it uses the verb dance, which is an ability or a skill by human beings or animals. So, ang shadow of the moon is not a living object. Okay? Next, the smell of the cookies welcomed us inside. So, the smell of the cookies welcome us inside is also a personification because the smell of the cookies is not a living thing. It's not a person, but it's have or attributed to human action nga welcome. Next, hinampak sang hangin ang makusog nga nara. So hinampak sang hangin. So tinampa or slap niya ang nara. So ang hangin or ang air or ang wind is not a living object. And again gamitin siya sang human attribute or ang verb nga hinampak. Another one, dayon na lang nagtangis ang mga panganod tungod sang ila mabugat nga ginadala. So, ang panganod or clouds are not a human being or living objects and gingamitan siya sang verb or human action nga nagtangis. So, nag-cry kuno ang cloud. So, this is an example of personification. Alright? Next, we have rhetorical question. This is the deployment of a question that does not require or expects to generate an answer. So the underlying assumption of a rhetorical question is that there can only be one possible reply. This is different from hypophora, no? So kaina, ang hypophora naton, you are asking a question nga gina-answer mo afterwards. Ikaw man mismo ang nasabat sang imong question. Ang rhetorical question, on the other hand, this is raising of question which do not require an answer. So wala siya answer, nag-ask ka lang. So you are asking your reader or you are asking yourself, but you don't need answers or you don't require an answer. Example, is the Pope Catholic? So in this question, the answer is very obvious. So is the Pope Catholic? Of course, yes. So this does not require any answer because the answer is obvious. Another one. May babae kayang tatagal makisama sa isang lalaking lasenggo, tamad at mapanakit? So this is a rhetorical question because the answer is obvious. Of course, most of the answers would be no. So sino man niya makaantos if the guy in a relationship is drunk, always drunk or sober or tamad ka gapanakit, 'di ba? So yeah, that's a rhetorical question. Another one, nga man hindi ka katulog sa adlaw. So, minango nga question, no? Because the answer is, no one can do so without protective gears because the rays of the sun will blind us. Alright? Another one, insakto balaayhan nga ginpatay ko ang akong kaugulingon nga nobya? Obviously, the answer is no. Alright? So, here are examples from famous literary pieces. So, Percy Bysshe Shelley ends his masterpiece Ode to the West Wind with a rhetorical question. O wind, if winter comes, can spring be far behind? In this excerpt, Shelley achieves the desired effect by asking a rhetorical question rather than making a statement. The answer to this question is not sought, rather, an effect is successfully created, giving a fine finishing touch to the ode. So, we use rhetorical question in poems or any written or creative writing to create an effect or an impact. Okay? That's your rhetorical question. Always remember, a rhetorical question, it does not require an answer. Next, we have the synecdoche. So, the naming of the part to signify the whole and vice versa. So, part siya sa nga represent. Example, I love hitting the net. So, net for soccer. Next, my hobby is playing shuttlecock with my friend. Shuttlecock for badminton. Another one, I hate shooting the ring for basketball. Basi maglasa ka mo between metonymy, symbol kag synecdoche. So maghambal kita metonymy. Both a metonymy and symbol are similar in their functions, which they use an object or they use a certain term to represent something, whereas ang synecdoche nagagamit siya sang part sang bagay nga gina-represent niya. For example, maghambal ako, my keyboard is not working. So, by saying keyboard, I mean to say my laptop or my personal computer. Okay? Another one, the hand of the clock is not working. So, ang hand dito nag-represent sang clock. Okay, meaning to say the clock itself is not working. So that is your synecdoche. Finally, the last figures of speech sa aton nga list, we have the understatement. This is a figure of speech employed by writers or speakers to intentionally make a situation seem less important than it really is. Kumbaga, you are trying to create a positive vibe in a given negative situation. Kumbaga, minamaliit nimo yung impact ng isang pangyayaring nagbibigay ng problem. Example, you just hit the biggest lottery of all time. So, an understatement would be, I'm kind of excited. So, kumbaga, milyonaryo ka na but imo lang hambal is I'm kind of excited. Though plain lang, though wala lang. So that is understatement. Another one, you scrape the entire side of your car. An understatement would be, it's only a small scratch. So it's an insult to the effect or negative situation, no, kay nasamad imo car pero imo lang reaction is gamay lang na, something like that. So kung wala mo lang na mind, so it's an understatement. Another example, you get the highest grade in class. An understatement would be, I did okay on that test. Although, okay lang sa mo daw, ka-average lang, something like that. Another example, nahulog mo cellphone and then naglitik ang screen tapos mo reaction. Sige lang litik mo lang nag-andar man gyapon. So that is an understatement. Another one, nag-break kay kamo sang imong migo tapos yung reaction. Sige lang adamo pamanda iban. So understatement na siya if that's the reaction or that's the tone or that's how you comment on something that is somehow negative in nature. Alright? Those are your figures of speech under the rhetorical figure. Again, magambal kita rhetorical figure. They focus on the arrangement or the usage of words in a sentence or a line and how they create an impact. And that ends our discussion for the lesson 6. If you have questions, suggestions, or something that you would like to clarify, just message me personally. So I've made this video instead of conducting a class to you because we have a very limited time before we hit our final exam. So gamay na lang gid ang time natin. That is why I will not conduct a class to you, but I will be sending video presentation na lang, by which after that you will be given your tasks and activities. We are a bit late sa aton nga discussion because this lesson is still under our first quarter, but we will see. We will try nga tapuson naton through several video presentations nga isend ko sa inyo. Okay, so thank you so much. I hope you have learned and you have watched this video presentation or video discussion from the start until the end. No, okay, it's an alternative para mag-learn ka mo because again, we have a limited time. So again, if you have questions, please direct them to me kag hindi magkuya-kuya. Okay? Thank you so much. God bless everyone and happy learning.
Well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all.